Hello. So, as part of the catch-up for my 5-turn trip, I'm going to talk about Rosespanner. And for Rosespanner, I generally think that mehsault is the weaker one and Rodion is very, very solid. So if you look at Rodion, let's start with mehsault. So mehsault is generally built to be a potency applier. You inflict tremor, you don't really inflict much count. Actually, you don't inflict count at all. Like there's nothing here that's related to count, and you do consume a crap ton of count with your skill tree. That is 3 tremor count. And the thing about this that I don't like is that we do not have a very good source of tremor count. And yes, I know people talk about LCCB Ishmael. LCCB Ishmael will apply 4 tremor count, which is a significant amount, but if you think about it, she also will consume 2 bullets for this, and you eventually want to consume bullets here as well. So against a lot of robots, it's very difficult to stack tremor on all of them. I don't think that she is going to be viable in all situations. I think she's going to be good in situations where you want to stack on 1 target, or maybe like 3 to 2 targets before you run out of bullets, assuming that you save your ammo and don't use skill tree or something like that, because it's really quite hard to get tremor count from what I see. Unless I'm missing something, right? The only ways we can get tremor count is through Ishmael. Base Ishmael applies 1. This Ishmael applies 4, and then I can't remember any other significant sources of tremor count unless there's an ego that has it, because off the top of my head I cannot remember this. But minusing 3, right, is quite a lot, and the reward you get doesn't seem very good because we do not have a way to get enough charge count on this guy. This guy, he has plus 5 charge count when he does this move, and it has to be hits, and then he spends all of the charge to reach the stagger threshold by charge count times percent, maxes at 50%, but you will only get 5 charge, so 5 times 5 is 25%. So it increases the stagger threshold by 25%. The thing is that a lot of moves already have this text, but they don't reduce tremor count. So instead of doing this, why not just burst tremor regularly? Because bursting tremor does not reduce tremor. And if you do not, and if you just keep bursting, right, your tremor count does not decrease. So you can just keep going forever as long as you have Ishmael apply the tremor count like 1 time. That's 4, so you get 4 turns of just bursting the guy. And with Rosespanner, right, Rosespanner, she is very efficient in her bursting. The reason being is that she only reduces count by 1. And she also applies enough tremor count before she bursts to replace. Replacement here is what I'm trying to say by replacement is that she applies 1 tremor count and then she consumes 1 tremor count. So it's a net of 0 for tremor count. And then if you look at skill 3, she will inflict 2 tremor count and then reduce by 1, reduce by 1. So that is -2. So net 0 again. And then for skill 1, she applies 1 tremor count and does not consume the tremor count. So that's a net +1. So very efficient in terms of tremor count application. You might say that, okay, if I am going to be using this skill 1 quite a lot, I could stack a lot of tremor count. Yes, but what if you're doing like wave battles and mehsault has a skill tree maybe twice, then you just consumed all of your tremor count. Like either you may not have enough time to get this amount of tremor count, this amount of this rev up here, like to warrant using this. So I think right now what we're lacking is a consistent applier of tremor count, which might come with Gregor because he applies tremor count and rupture count. And take note, he also has the same text here, burst tremor, then reduce tremor. So depending on what these numbers are, this could be very good. Because when we spend the charge count to inflict the same amount of rupture count, right, then even more so, we don't want to consume our tremor, right? Because when we want this let's grind them to apply the same amount of rupture count on the target, meaning that we want to keep our tremor count as high as possible. So once again, looking at this, the reward really isn't worth it when we look at this kit here. So it's a bit conflicting. You want to have very high tremor so that you can do the count, but at the same time, if you run mehsault to apply a high amount of potency for the tremor, then you will consume your count. Then there will be nothing to transfer over. So I think they are a bit anti-synergistic here, these 2 IDs. The good news is that Rodion, no matter what, can always be used because she is net 0. She is actually positive +1 in her kit. She will always get a positive or 0 amount of tremor count, meaning that as long as you apply an initial tremor count, she can maintain it as long as you have another source of tremor count somewhere, and sometimes it can even just be her maintaining it as long as you have the one person apply enough tremor count that she can realistically use a lot of rev ups to keep refreshing it. So really solid character. I really like her design. I think that she is well thought out. As for the 200 IDs, I really don't know. Yeah, I really don't know about them. We need to wait for the numbers here for Gregor, and for Meursault, I don't think this is worth it. And then let's talk about the coinage. Meursault's coinage is nothing to talk about. It's just a pretty average character. 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is like what, 4 plus 8. That's 12. 4 to 12. That's like whatever, really. Like damage wise, we know they are better. Like you see 5 plus 4, right? That's Cloud Cutter. that's Cloud Cutter, but Cloud Cutter uses it twice. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just average overall damage. But here, if we look at Rodion's, she actually pretty much compares to KK Honglu quite fairly well. I think only loses out a little bit of damage, but the utility that she brings will make up for it. So in terms of skill 1s, right, this one is clearly better because of 2 coins, and then you fall +3 +3, so it's really good. And then you will also do the tremor, charge count, and inflict tremor count. Oh, and just to remind everyone, the charge count here is for this passive here. When you burst tremor, you spend 3 charge to increase stagger threshold by 40%. And the thing about this one, right, is like, is this the same text as this? To further raise stagger threshold? Is this like the exact same thing? Because all I need to do here is spend 3 charge, which she naturally gets, because skill 1 gives her 4, skill 3 gives her 6. So she can even activate it twice, you know, here. Like, this is so well designed, because when you use, you get this, and then when you burst tremor twice, so you just consume all your charge count. So good, right? And then you go, then what you need to do is you need to rev up, and then you need to vibration compression, which makes sense because she's using a chainsaw grippy thing. So you rev it up and then you vibration afterwards to consume the charge count to burst this tremor, right? Makes sense. It makes sense. Like, it's such a cool design. But yeah, okay. So anyway, about the charge count, talked about it. 6 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, because it is also a reused coin as long as you are at 3 plus charge count. So you need to remember that you have to rev up into vibration compression. That is the setup for her. It's very simple compared to a lot of other characters. For her, it's just you must remember to rev up first and then you vibration compression afterwards, because you need the 3 plus charge count to reuse the coin. And if you do not have the charge count, then you should not use the skill, because it will not be worth it. So could say that it's a little bit weaker, because you can just cloud cut, and you give her more actions, you get more cloud cuts, you just cloud cut better. But actually, with the removal of this card mechanic, we will be using skill 1s quite a bit, so I honestly don't see too much of a problem here. It's quite natural for a Honglu eventually to do a cleave into a cloud cutter, because you ran out of cloud cutters in your draw, right? So I see no problem here. Eventually you will have to rev up, and just making it so that you rev up into vibration compression is totally fine by me. I think it's totally fine, and I think it's very lore accurate, so it's very good. And then, yeah, so if you look here, you inflict a bunch of tremor. I think the one weakness she has is that she does not apply a lot of tremor. Like if you look at skill 2, I guess this skill 2 is basically where most of her tremor application comes from, but it's also not a huge amount. Inflict 2 more tremor each time the coin is reused, so it's 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, and then you will burst it afterwards. Yeah. This is probably the place where you get a lot of your tremor potency. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, 2, 4, 6. That's actually more than this guy. Wait a second. If you take 1 tremor here, and then you apply 12 here. Oh, actually, this character's kind of crazy. Yeah, she's actually self-sufficient no matter what. So vibration compression actually applies 12 tremor according to what I'm reading here, because it's 2, 4, 6, right? So that's gonna be 12. And then you burst it afterwards, and as long as you have 1 count, you will maintain your tremor potency. Oh, damn, this character just got better in my eyes. Shit, I forgot to read this part here. Damn it, reading is tricky. But damn, this character is so fluid. It's always rev up into vibration compression, and then you can just skill 3 whenever the hell you want. Yeah, actually, yeah, you can just skill 3 whenever the hell you want. Skill 3 is just skill 3 is just when you want to break the guy. Because if you break the guy, then you get the extra damage. So the fluidity here comes from you rev up, you do skill 2, stack up the tremor, you're building it up, and then when you're ready to rack up the score, you use skill 3. Oh, so cool, so cool. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, very cool actually. And the coinage is really very respectable. It's 5 plus 12. That's a 17 damage, and it's blunt, so very strong against robots. In terms of elements, I think it also charges up Rimeshank pretty well. I need to double check this. Rimeshank is what elements? Rimeshank is Gloom Envy. Oh, perfect. Perfect. She charges her own ego. Amazing. Like, okay, so what happens, right, is that after you burst Tremor, you gain 1 haste and 1 blunt damage, and then if you have no choice but to use Vibration Compression, because you use your skill tree to stack up 2 of this blunt damage, you just pop Rimeshank, and you get the extra blunt damage, and you hit a bunch of robots for a lot of damage. Or hits 1 robot, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's actually a really decent fluid combo, a nice flow, I think it'd be nice if she gets a single target blunt instead of a Rimeshank though, because it's quite expensive for only possibly 1 enemy hit, because the robots have like ×2 to the body. If you don't know what that means, the robots have a slot where it consumes 2 arrows from your AoE, and since this is a 3 slot AoE, then it will only hit 1 guy because the robot consumed 2 of it. So that's why it's very hard to AoE down the robots. So Rimeshank is not exactly a super great use of the resource, but at the same time you will be building up quite a bit of the resource because you will be using Vibration and Envy and your rev up. So actually really good. You even, wait, I think you even charge up What is Cast by herself. What is Cast is Gloom and Pride. Oh shit, dude. Oh shit. This character's kind of crazy. Oh damn. Yeah, if you want slash, right, you actually just use rev up and vibration compression a lot, and then you have your slash move. Oh, so cool, so cool. Yeah, this character is just getting better and better the more I talk about her. Okay, so here's my prediction. Because the robot enemies that I fought in chapter 4 are very weak to tremor, and they are designed such that their stagger threshold is only around 35% to 15%, around there. They do not have a 65% threshold, so it's very hard to raw damage them to this threshold here when their HP pools are going to be big. And especially when Railway comes out, their HP pools are going to become humongous. So because of that, I would say that this character might be very, very important for Railway in the future. So because of that, definitely would 100% recommend pulling her. As for whether I'm going to dump my resources into her now, I think I won't. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spark her. I think mirror dungeon farming just to get her is fine. I'm not going to invest too many pools here because the mehsault is really whatever. I don't really give a shit about the mehsault. But what I really do like in the next banner is Sun Shower, and possibly this Gregor. So I'm going to save my pools for the next banner, but I'm going to spark this character for sure, because I think this character is going to see a lot of use. Very, very self-sufficient kit, very strong stagger threshold, and so much synergy, so good elements for a lot of egos. Like, this character is phenomenal. Yeah, so I think that's my conclusion for this banner. Mehsault is not very interesting because of the sheer amount of tremor count he consumes. His damage is also nothing to talk about. And then Rodion has just so much fluidity, so much good stuff going for her. Elements wise, it's perfect. Skill 1 into skill 2 is a combo that you must be doing. And then skill 3 is to benefit from all the tremor that you've stacked up from doing skill 1 and skill 2. It's so cool. I love the design. And I think she will be very important, especially against the robot enemies in the future. So yeah, that's it for my opinion. Leave a comment with your opinions as well. I love to hear everyone's opinions, and yeah, thank you for watching.